This is our town.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 211 of Value Town. I'm ChanmanV, and I'm welcoming these two guys to the show, Gaara and Dreads. What's up, guys?
Hello, hello. Exciting times.
Yeah, super excited.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's within week one. It's not even a complete week one of the new Rise of Shadows expansion. So this is always the most exciting time of the year. And with the complete reset and the new expansion, I mean, you can't get more change. And particularly this year, too. I think most of us were super excited about this, expansion this time around. So
it was a tough last month, that's for sure.
Yeah, it really was.
Is it here yet? How much longer?
That's true. Blizzard did a pretty good job of spanning it out this time, I have to say. They had the whole theory crafting, streams, and they had a bunch of card reveal streams this time around. So they did their best, at least. Yeah,
I think what they could have done for Arena is have some kind of an event in the last month.
Yeah,
just switch it up a little bit, because it was really stale the last month, and it wouldn't be that much, quite easy for me to say. It wouldn't be that much effort to have done something, so that last month wasn't so painful. But we're here, we made it.
We made it. Maybe next time, hopefully we'll. But we've got new arena. We've obviously got new standard with all the new decks, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're just going to be focusing on just our overall impressions so far, what some decks are that we've been playing, maybe some of the other decks that streamers have been playing that Reddit seems to just keep track of like 24/7 and make their list. We'll take a look at that, and then of course we'll go into Arena. Dreads will give us the lowdown on the current state of Arena, and then we'll talk a little bit about Grandmasters. EU Grandmasters was announced, and of course there's been specialist cups this entire time, or already this week, and Gaara can attest to some of those. So we'll talk about just how that looks right now and what the meta looks like there. And then Q&A at the end, like always. Get your questions ready in Twitch chat or tweet them over at ValueTownGG, and we'll definitely read it out. Okay, so first off, week one, our week one in Hearthstone, meaning obviously Rise of Shadows. Overall, how have you been just feeling, without getting into too much detail, like how do you feel about the expansion so far?
I will talk for the ladder part.
Okay. Talk about ladder first, please. Yeah.
It's much better than before the rotation. That's at least how it feels.
Yeah.
I don't know
hey, move your mic a little closer. It's kind of going up and down a little bit.
I'm not sure if it's because people haven't figured out the best decks in the game just yet, so a lot of people are experimenting. But it feels like you face a different matchup all the time. It was really stale how the meta felt before the rotation. You faced mid-range hunter over and over again, and then resurrect priest over and over again. It felt like you never faced, even though you did face other decks, but it felt like you only faced those two decks just because they were so highly represented. But now when you queue, you sometimes face Handlock, sometimes Zoo, sometimes Token Druid, and then Murloc Shaman. This is how old Hearthstone ladder felt like. These playable weaker decks that people play because you can achieve these 50% plus win rates if you put enough effort in. And with all the super overpowered cards that we had with Kalasurf, Barnes, and DKs, you could not achieve this 50+% win rate with these weaker decks. So people were kind of forced to play these, OP decks all the time. And I was talking about this, I feel like for 2 years, what they had to do to make Hearthstone feel more fun again. And that is release 3 low power level expansions in a row. And we are finally here. It's like the golden cross.
Yeah. For sure.
I was so excited for this specific moment, and we're at the end of the tunnel finally. I mean, from a fun standpoint, it definitely much better.
Dreads, how about you? What's your first take, first 3 days?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of the cards that I'm sure have been really strong in Constructed have also been really strong in Arena, like Fungalmancer, Bone Mare. A lot of having those cards rotate out feels great. And for Arena, we also have a lot of cards coming back. So it's a drastically different meta because, you know, it's no longer standard. We have a lot of cards that are members, a lot of nostalgia coming back where it's like, I remember playing with this card and this doing that. So it's been fun. Just having things be different is nice. Things aren't perfect. Some stuff's broken. I mean, we'll get into it. The classes aren't exactly equal in power level, but it's fun. And, you know, things are going to be a little bit broken. This is the first time Blizzard's implemented this new system for Arena with the rotating sets. And so, yeah, I mean, things are going to be a little bit broken at the start, and that's okay. But overall, I've been having a lot of fun and playing. I don't know, 10 hours on average for the first 3 days.
Nice. That's pretty good. No, I mean, I think it's okay to have stuff broken as long as it's not broken for a long time. You know, you know what I mean? Well, like discovering if things are broken is kind of a fun thing too, right?
Yeah, I was joking about it. I was like, I'll give him like 48 more hours because it's that broken right now.
I know. We'll talk about the stats in a second. It is pretty nuts.
It's been fun. Like my mood is definitely up on Hearthstone lately compared to the last month.
Yeah, oh, I'd hope so, because that'd be in big trouble if it wasn't up after this complete reset.
Probably like everyone, right?
Yeah. So for me, same thing. I mean, I think what I tend to do, especially with this expansion every year, is I purposely start super low. Like I let myself tank all the way down to like 15, and then I like to kind of just like play my way up. You know, play crappy decks and kind of just work your way up. And
it's fun to not worry about it, right? Not worry.
Yeah, you're not really worried, and you know, it gives you a chance to experiment and just have iterative changes, like iteratively moving up the ladder. And you know, obviously the meta is completely different once you get to legend and, you know, high legend, but I don't know, but this gives me, I mean, it's not as discouraging, I guess you could say, when you're first starting out, and all these people have theorycraft. I didn't do any of that stuff, right? I didn't really watch everybody theory. Like Gaara has like spreadsheets of you know, decks before the expansion even released, but I don't do that. So I typically just try to, you know, experiment myself and work way up. And I typically just play 1 or 2 classes a lot and not try like everything all at once. So that's pretty much what I've been doing with Shaman. And I was doing Warrior on the first day, and then I realized, oh my God, that's not that's not a very chic thing to do right now. It's just to play Warrior, because Warrior is what everybody's playing. So then I switched over to Shaman, which has been a lot of fun.
It seems like we're all approaching it differently and having a good time. It's a good sign for Hearthstone.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of, I guess, you're talking about the meta, maybe we can get in that a little bit. Any classes you feel, and obviously Rogue's obviously really good in Arena. Rogue's also good in Standard too, by the way. It's like crazy good. So if we're talking about just meta before getting into the decks themselves, you know, any classes stand out to you? I'll bring up the HS replay in a second here. Gaara, anything?
I mean, Rogue is the obvious one. Like, most people consider Rogue to be the best class. But this can come down to that it was the easiest deck to build, Pirate Rogue that is, because we basically had Pirate Rogue before the rotation, and then you only changed a few cards. And also, this trend continues every single time. The aggro decks are always dominating the early
because you can queue games faster and stuff like that.
Yeah, the early cycle of a rotation, the aggro decks always dominate, just because they're so much easier to build than the control decks. Control decks kind of need a meta, and then you know, tech certain counter cards against other top tier decks, or that's like how control decks are in combo decks as well. And yeah, the people got really good at identifying what is the best aggro class or aggro deck, like very, very quickly. Like, people discovered Pirate Warrior, right? I don't know if you remember, but people played like already very solid version of Pirate Warrior already on the first or second day of the new expansion, or as soon as patches was released. It was like incredibly fast. And
well, that's because patches was so broken that it was impossible to not discover that. That was
not
ridiculous.
Just patches, but in like already like, okay, I'm gonna play Pirate Warrior. You know, that's gonna be top tier aggro deck. And I think much later people had then Token Druid or something.
Token Druid is just always good though. It seems like if you can sometimes it loses its luster or people just forget about it, but then every time you think about Token Druid, it's like, oh yeah, it's not bad. It's actually not bad. And then when you have a reset, it's good again. So
yeah, I was trying to play Murloc Shaman, and then I was playing against Token Druids, and I was going, wait, they're doing what I'm like kind of trying to do, but like way better.
I know, exactly, so, right?
This Murloc Shaman thing isn't so hot.
There's two things I really wanna mention, which is crazy because it always repeats itself. Dog stays the day one meta breaker. It's actually crazy that he's consistently like making the best first decks. Like he was getting to like top 5 legend with the most random decks. He played like Dragon Tempo Mage to like almost rank 1 legend, which is like crazy.
Well, he played the shaman the first day, right? The spell shaman. Yeah, the spell shaman, which is really cool. I mean, I was one of the first things I did too after watching him do that. Yeah, the dog is always rank 1. He's always the day 1 rank 1 guy. Like if you want to find the first guy, yeah, because he did the Quest Rogue, right? Like a long time ago. What were some of the iconic dog decks that he discovered? Quest Rogue, I remember. Oh, it was the priest, the Topsy-Turvy priest, right? That was him too.
Priest. I remember that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those are like crazy iconic decks. Yeah, so that's true. He's really innovative, and you know, I think dog, he loses interest, I think, pretty quickly too with Hearthstone. You know, and the day one is always when he's like most excited, and you can tell, you know, which is good. So people that are watching the stream or listening, they're probably wondering, why aren't you just talking about Warrior? Okay, so for sure in the lower ranks, Warrior is, I think, one of the top classes, or at least people perceive as the top class. And maybe we should talk about that, because definitely day 1 and day 2, I think, were dominated by Bomb Warrior and maybe Bomb Dragon or Control Warrior or whatever it is, right? So what do you guys think of Warrior so far in terms of just the whole bomb thing and how it feels? Is it crazy good? Is it just good? Like, what do you guys think?
I played all the Warrior versions, like the Bomb Warrior, the Dragon Control Warrior, the Mechatoon Warrior post-rotation, and I expected Warrior, like on my spreadsheets that you talked about, to be the best class in the game, which felt extremely obvious to me, because Warrior is keeping like most of the good cards, and on top of it, like even without getting any new cards, Warrior would be a contender for the best class in the game. But we got like crazy good new mechs. Like Omega Assembly is insane with Skulking Guys rotating out. And now you have like 3 more mechs that you can get from Omega Assembly and from the Dr. Boom Hero Power and Dr. Boom, one of the 3 hero cards. It's like, it stacks up crazy, like really powerful mechs, which you can randomly generate and whatnot. And people are playing like, I find it funny because Crypt claimed apparently that he made that deck the best deck in the game.
Come
like
on.
He's very proud about it.
We saw that on the reveal stream. Yeah. We saw that on the reveal stream. I mean, come on, right?
But like, isn't it super freaking cool? Like Bomb Warrior being instead of just being a meme, being like the best deck in the game. I have nothing against it.
Yeah, I mean, Dredge is probably super happy. He doesn't have to like be playing against the Dr. Boom hero and the Dr. Boom card and some of these terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I played it like when I was playing a bit of Murloc Shaman. That was the first deck I played. Just like, this seems kind of fun. Let's try it. I was losing to a lot of Bomb Warrior.
Yeah,
I didn't really get close in a lot of the games.
I wonder if this is such a, like, I mean, it's right now maybe the best deck, which I kind of highly doubt, but isn't it really a problem if you think about it? It's like the bombs are too slow versus aggro. The cards themselves are not individually powerful value-wise, and control decks run all Elysiana, and I do that myself. You just kill like 6 bombs with Elysiana in late game. But the only card that seems to be ridiculously freaking powerful is Dr. Boom, surprisingly. Like
Dr. Boom. Yeah, I think Dr. Boom is where the issue is for Control Warrior, because I know, and right. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad. Like, here's the thing about Warrior, it wouldn't be so bad for me if bombs didn't exist in the Warrior theme. but like they would be probably right at the right power range, to be the control class type of thing. But the problem is that it would be exactly the same as what it was before expansion, which I think they wanted to change up. They didn't want to see the exact same thing over again. So that's kind of why I think that the bombs probably got introduced. And the bombs, to be honest, are like, they're interesting from a deck building. Like, we're trying to deck build against it, but it's frustrating to play against, though. Like, there's no question. There's nothing that feels good about that at all. Like having the bombs just randomly. Yeah, well, it's not about the losing. It's just like this random thing happens, and you just take 5, and yeah, they paid a little bit of a cost up front, but not that much. Not when you can abuse like the battle cries, with Elic and things like that. So it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good as a challenge to try to overcome it, deck building wise and things like that. It's fun that way. But I would say, like, just the general gameplay, it's not a good theme to have, like, be very prevalent. Because what we're going to end up seeing is that, like, I think Warriors, this type of, like, crazy control deck that's really good, and I don't see it not getting good. I mean, you have to find a deck like Rogue that try to keeps it in check or whatever, but it starts turning into the polarized Hearthstone again, rock, paper, scissors Hearthstone again. And that's what I'm worried about, is that we kind of get there pretty quickly again, and that would be bad, right? So I hope they do something about Warrior just to kind of like lessen it a little bit. There are other good control classes too, and it'd be a shame if nobody played them. They just didn't play Shaman, for instance. They didn't play any of those classes.
A big shame is definitely, again, Dragon Paladin. I think we had potential Dragon Paladin decks for 4 years, which we could never play because they were like much better control decks. And now we have, like, if you look at Paladin, we have such a cool like curve in theory, but it's just much weaker than the best classes. Again, play it.
For sure. Mad Mac just said that Kibler played a 55-minute game, Control Warrior versus Control Shaman. I had the same type of game as well.
See, I don't want to do that, man.
I don't
want to play an hour-long game of...
Yep. The games are super long. And you know what's crazy? This is how crazy it got for me, just try to counter like these Control Warriors with Shaman. I added Nomi just because I needed like an extra card with crazy value after the brawls were gone.
More stuff.
Yeah, I beat a guy with 108 armor because of Nomi at the very end, and I ended up getting a bloodlust from the legendary Shaman that came with the. Yeah, it was pretty funny, but it lasted almost an hour as well. So
I played a lot of these games, and then oftentimes they end because he discovered double Grammage, from Elysiana.
Oh yeah.
And then you just die.
Like after an hour.
You play for an hour and then
that's how it ends, right?
The thing is, people will eventually, after 1 hour, you run out of removals.
Yeah.
And then whoever discovered the better minions will win.
Yeah, or whoever gets the hero power that gives you 7 armor the most times will probably win too. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, I hope something changes there, even if it being early on, because Warrior's just good against aggro, right? Like Warrior control decks are just good against aggro, so they'll always keep that in check. But now I feel like they're potentially better than all the other control decks too, right? And that's where it gets a little bit crazy. But talking about some of the other decks, have you guys tried any Zoo or Warlock or anything like that? I played some deck last night that was, oh man, what was it? He obviously did the what's the card that you get to discard your whole hand and re-pick it again?
Plot Twist.
Which was it?
Plot Twist.
Oh, Plot Twist, yeah. So, I mean, he kept doing the Plot Twist thing, and then, there's that one card that, like, summons all of the cards that you draw that then turns them into Rush just for that turn.
The Demon, right?
Yeah, the Demon. Yeah, that plus the healing. Oh, man, it was pretty cool. I don't think it was, like, anything that's crazy broken or strong, but definitely some really cool things in the Warlock, but it just doesn't seem strong enough for people to play right now. So I was curious if you guys played anything like Handlock or anything.
The two most successful Warlock decks I've seen were Zoo and Handlock. And Handlock mainly because of Jiraxxus, because it's kind of like,
it's so good to see Jiraxxus again, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah, but it's not just like you think, okay, here's Jiraxxus is super crazy strong. And then you're like, but I can fatigue him. And then they play Archfiend Rafam. and one of the 15 legendaries is usually Elysiana, and then you can't fatigue anymore.
You have to be pretty lucky to hit Elysiana, though.
Is it though? It happened to me like
so.
3 times.
Oh, 15? Oh, okay. 15 choices. That's, yeah.
Like,
it's probably a decent chance.
Yeah, they just keep a bajillion cards.
It's a decent chance. Yeah, that card
that's not because so many cards rotated out. There's not that crazy amount of legendaries.
They shouldn't make it double copy. I think even making it a single copy wouldn't be as bad. But double copy is just absurd, like nuts. an additional 10 cards to your deck. That's crazy. So one thing I would have to say that I feel like people really misread was Secret Paladin. I think a lot of people thought Secret Paladin and Aggro Paladin would be really good because of the new.
You know what's the problem? It's too fair now. It's like
run out of cards, or what's the?
Which one?
Is it just you run out of cards with like?
Divine Favor.
Yeah, no Divine Favor, and I mean it's not that hard to play around the secret. Surprisingly, like I never struggle. Like the removal is just so good right now.
And Rogue is just too strong as well.
Yeah,
like
Rogue.
Rogue does basically the same thing, just better. And then they have like Myra and Stable Element if they run out of cards, which is basically Divine Favor, just better.
It's actually pretty funny when I switched to playing a little bit of Rogue. I was like, this is way better than the Murloc stuff I was doing. Like, it feels, as someone who plays mostly Arena, it feels like I'm just playing a really insane Arena deck. Because you generate tons of value from cards.
Yeah.
You have the good Rogue tempo cards. And so it plays a lot like an Arena deck. And so it's it's pretty fun. I was enjoying playing it. It's also broken, which makes no winning.
I mean, the best indicative is that Rank 1 Legend EU, Asia, and NA is the same Rogue list.
Yeah.
The same Pirate Tempo Rogue list, which is crazy. I think we never had that. The exact same deck is Rank 1 Legend.
You probably thank HS Replay for that, because it's definitely like #1 on their side as well. But yeah, the Rogue class, like I think there's a number of turns where you're playing 2 cards basically, like you're getting 2 things on the board, or I mean this weapon is just broken, man. This weapon is super good. In terms of like getting like getting Leroy down twice or whatever it is, it's crazy good. And then you
super versatile.
Super versatile. Like right now, I feel like I'm running 2 or 3 weapon removal in some of my decks because of just how many warriors and rogues are running around right now. So it you have to be able to get rid of that before they can use it when they want to use it. I guess they can always control it to some extent because they can just hero power and kill it too.
Another thing that was probably like a little bit underrated, but which I predicted, was that Henge Clan Burglar will be the most played card of the expansion. That's what I predicted.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Because you can play it in every Rogue deck, and Rogue Rogue was always one of the 3 most popular classes. I feel like when was Rogue like completely unplayable on Ladder? Did we have that period?
No, because Miracle was always there, right? Yeah. To keep it relevant. So
it was like always
not really.
There.
It's kind of the same in Arena. Like its hero power is so good in Arena that Blizzard can micro adjust it down, but just by nature, it's going to be one of the top 3 or 4 classes pretty much all the time. Yeah,
prep too. Prep basically, as long as they have card value, they get an extra. They almost get an extra turn if you're talking about low mana turns, right? So it's I think they've always been at least the powers, the combo powers that they've given Rogue has always been a foundational strength that's better than most of the other classes. So yeah, they haven't been bad. I don't think Rogue's ever literally been in the gutter, like just the crazy bad plays. Same with Druid. Druid's the same way too. But Druids, they've been slowly taking out that fundamental strength they've had in the past, which is the ramp. So Druid might have its day in the bottom, but who knows if it's right now or not though. Yeah, this deck right now, tempo wise, it's clearly the deck to counter Warrior. This beats Warrior. I think that's like the main thing, is people wanted to build a deck that beats it consistently. And the Hunter does too, right? The Hunter does really well against the Warrior too, actually. So I think maybe at the top level, at the highest level, correct me if I'm wrong, Gaara, like maybe Rogue and Warrior are pretty pretty even, like at the very, very top levels. It just really depends on what warrior we're talking about.
Yeah, but the thing is, it feels like you can do more with rogue because, for example, because of the discover mechanic, right? If you look at Henge Clan Burglar, it's like a pirate, a 4-drop, and it discovers a spell, right?
Yeah.
You will always discover like a spell you need, and warrior has just like less options overall. It's like if you don't draw, for example, there's people still play the wait, do people play the 3-drop?
Which one?
The Henge Thug?
Oh, here?
This
list doesn't have it. People definitely play Henge Clan Thug.
Yeah,
there's like no question that that's being played. So
like,
it's this one. It's probably this one. Well, actually, here. Like, I can only sort by the win rate. I took one that wasn't the highest win rate. Here's the okay. This is the popular one. That's super.
I was like,
yeah, okay. There we go. Henge Clan Thug. Yeah, this is the Myra's with the Shavnomi one.
In Hearthstone, it was always playing reactive is always weaker a little bit than being proactive. And without the Baku, like if you don't have immediately like the shield slam, there's almost no way to stop the snowball from the Hedge Thug. It's like so much. It feels so much stronger than before.
Well, you have to hope you have Ziliax on 5, and then maybe you can take it out after getting hit a couple times with it. But yeah, and it's like Henge Clan Thug has got that Flappy Bird feel to it. If it gets on the board, stays on the board, you're in trouble. Like you've probably just lowered your winning percentage by like 5 to 7. Yeah.
What people also underestimate is the 3-drop, the Evil Miscreant. Like when people saw the reviews, they were like, that card is trash.
Dredge was just talking about in Arena. Crazy good, right?
Yeah, they underbucked it a bit in Arena, so it's up against cards that are way worse. So you take a pretty quick time, which means that there's a lot of these because there's also offering bonus.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I mean, if a card's really good and constructed, it's going to probably be good in Arena.
Yeah, that's true. So with this deck that I know a lot of people are listening. With this deck, this is the one that has Myra's Unstable Element at the end of it, where you just basically draw the rest of your deck, and then you basically have nothing in the deck, and then it combos super well with Shavnomi, right? Because you can just like throw whatever 6/6 or 7/6/6s on the board, and potentially have the follow up to it, which is usually a bunch of South Sea deckhands or Leroy or something like that, where you're going to be able to finish them off with whatever. So that combination at the end of games with this deck is like crazy high roll, crazy good, So yeah, this deck right now, it's, I don't know. Do you see, is there a counter to this? Like what's the actual counter to this deck? Like, let me see if there's the matchup. Does it have any matchup data here on this deck? Let me see. Was this Tempo Rogue? So matchup data. Okay, it looks like, oh, actually Control Area does well against it. Okay, at the top higher levels. Okay, it's only got 2 bad matchups. It's only got 2 bad matchups. Seriously? Oh my god, this is insane.
I mean, like okay against it.
Yeah, so Control Warrior counters it. 38.9, I think it says counter it. Bomb Warrior only 47. So there's no other red, guys. I mean, this is why this deck is crazy broken. It's probably at least.
If I play more constructed, this is what I'm going to play. I won't do decks, but like I love Rogue. It's just my favorite class.
Yeah.
And broken. And there's a lot of, I love card generation, like random generation, and then using those cards. So it's like, yeah, that's what I want to play. Oh, and like 4 damage for no mana. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I'll take that.
Also, when you look at Twitter, the guy, one of the 3 guys that did Ring 1, he said, "Oh, it never was so easy and so non-stressful to get to Ring 1."
I mean, I'm not playing a high level, but once I switched this deck, it was like, oh, I am like I can win games consistently. Yeah, this is. Even though I don't play much constructed, this is fine.
Yeah,
I don't even know the optimal line because I don't play enough. I'm just like throwing stuff onto the board, generating more value out of nowhere. Like, sure, we win.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how good it is. I mean, look at the Bomb Warrior instead. Like, there's plenty of pink in here. Like right here, there's a bunch of pink, right?
What do you think the best way for them to nerf it a little bit would be?
Which one?
Tempo Rogue? Tempo Rogue, yeah.
I think the weapon's a big issue. I mean, I think that Nomi should be
This should finally Hall of Fame Leroy, man. It's like
I'm okay with Leroy in that threat. I think Nomi is a dumb card. it's a classic card where you get like insane value for doing nothing except for playing a card. Yeah, you know, and that's great. It's really stupid. At least make it 5 or 4s. 5 5s or 4 4s, because at 6/6 it's not removable unless you have brawls or twisting nethers. You know, like it's or you have like a shaman, you know, removal card that's been buffing like the entire time. Like,
very difficult.
Very, very difficult to get this guy removed, you know. So, and you know, when people just like literally win because they have 42 damage on the board after one play, I mean, that's just kind of
This feels like it has so many win conditions too, because it still has that staple of like make a giant Edwin and they don't have an answer, right? And they just cheese out a couple of games doing that. So.
Yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of cheese ways to win, and Waggle Pick. When I was mentioning the weapon before, the folks listening, is a 4-mana 4/2 weapon that Death Rattle return a random friendly minion to your hand, and it costs 2 less. So you can play Leroy twice, basically. It's crazy.
Probably the biggest issue is the preparation, though. If you think about it, it's the highest win rate card in the deck again, and like preparation into raiding parties just off the charts.
Yeah,
as a power play, and mana cheat. Like every mana cheat card was nerfed, right? Almost every except preparation.
I mean, this is why Rogue is always good. It's the same reason why Wild Growth. You know, it's like a different way of doing Wild Growth. Except for this is instant instead of. It's more like Innervate. You know, why Innervate was good, right? It's the same principle with preparation. So.
And if you draw 3 cards with Raiding Party, you have no drawback on the prep. It doesn't cost a card. It doesn't cost a resource. It just it's too strong.
Yeah, so common plays are weapon, you know, Corsairs, right? Like you're getting 2 strong plays and for the cost of 1 a lot of times. So so yeah, I don't know what ends up. I mean, I think in the end something like that's like, I don't know, Extreme Taunt would beat it. There's nothing that's going to out heal this. It's pretty hard to out heal this, right? Except for Warrior. Warrior's probably only I think the only class that can out heal it. But if they get Mars early, you're in trouble, though. What?
Shaman did okay against it when I played Shaman against it.
Yeah, me too. But I teched heavy against it, though. Like, it's... You know, I pretty much built the deck to beat this deck, you know what I mean? Like, it was a bunch of weapon removal, you know, and tons of heals and things like that, so...
But the Leroy Shadow Step threat is so scary. It's very hard to be out of that range, you know, remove the board and be out of that range all the time.
Yeah.
It's double Leroy plus the 4 damage weapon. That's a lot to play around, right?
A ton. Okay, any other things? Oh, Mech Hunter. And that's another super popular deck. I think that a lot of people have been playing on the ladder. And gosh, this one is definitely the Warrior killer, because Warriors just can't remove. They just don't have enough removal to deal with all the Death Rattle mech stuff that's going on there. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to play it or not, but
I played a ton against it.
Wait, Explodinator isn't it a constructed deck? Did I see that right?
That's I picked like the wrong one. It should be this one.
It's like that card's terrible.
I don't know. It's 62%, but you know, only 790 games though. This is the one that's really popular though. The one with the Death Rattles and the you know, the where was it? The Oblivitron, right? Oblivitron and Firework Tex, and you know, this is basically
the Resurrect card is pretty cancerous.
Which one?
Point that out. The Resurrect card.
This one, right?
No, the 3 mana. It's the most. That's why the deck works. No, down the blue card.
Oh, yeah, 9 lives. Yeah. Exactly. This is like maybe even stronger than. Well, it's just, you know, mostly because of relative thing, but the early game I feel like is stronger than even the old one with the egg and everything, man. Like it's kind of crazy how with the magnetic, and I mean you double up on Death Rattles, you know, like it's nuts. Like some minions end up having 2 Death Rattles and you're triggering those Death Rattles, and it's pretty crazy with the kind of combos you can nail with this Hunter deck.
7/7s.
Yeah. So Hunter, you know, no Rexar, still doing just fine. I lose games even before they play Zul'jin. Like it's pretty good, just straight mech. So they're making mech work, that's for sure, even outside of Warrior here. Okay, any other kind of decks that that's kind of stand out in the meta? Maybe just before we kind of move on to Arena. I will say, you know, I know, Gaara, you and I have been playing a lot of Shaman, And I actually haven't played that much Murloc Shaman, but I don't think Murloc Shaman's ended up being. I don't know if it's like it's not that good because it's just not that powerful in terms of the burst, like we've seen with Paladins in the past, or if it's just, you know, people just know how to deal with it super easy now. You know, like we've played against these type of decks forever now in Hearthstone, and it's so easy to tech against. What do you guys think about Murloc Shaman? Any good?
Very bad. No, it's like super high roll. Like if you get the nut curve, you just kill an opponent turn 3, turn 4. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think never seen such a crazy high roll curve.
Yeah, just if you don't get that though, it can be pretty rough. Like some games, your opponents can't do anything, and then some games you can look at your hand on like turn 3 and you're like, yeah, there's no way I ever win this game.
You lose the board once, it's over.
Yeah, exactly. And so that doesn't look like it to me, right? Like,
yeah, true.
Another deck is maybe like a Resurrect Priest. I've seen that do okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that. I played that a couple. I mean, it feels like old Priest in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. Let me see.
It
right
does.
Here.
Just no Shadow Visions.
Yeah, no Shadow Visions, but they still have this. Katharina Marte is obviously pretty good. Yeah, the whole Mogashan Enforcer and all that stuff is quite good. Speaking of Mogashan, Mashog Enforcer, I've been running that in Shaman just to try out like the whole Wind Fury thing, the whole Wind Fury, and just like swapping, you know, doing the Alchemist type of thing on it. So I've been running I mean, it's early in experimentations, but I've been running a few cards like this, trying to see if I can pull that off. And what I didn't realize, and this is kind of stupid, but what I didn't realize is that new card, right, the Wind Fury, the quad Wind Fury card or whatever, Ultra Mega Wind Fury card, I didn't realize it's just like an aura. Like I thought it was Battlecry for whatever reason, so I didn't really pay much attention to it until I Wind Furied it. And then it was able to attack 4 times. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, I was like, oh, so anytime you Wind Fury. So anyways, I've been trying to mess around with that too. That's kind of interesting too. I feel like there's a OTK potential there somewhere. But yeah, so this deck though operates the same as it used to. Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, all that good stuff. Got the Grizzlies too. I mean, literally this is very, very similar to the old one.
Never seen before.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, why don't we move on to Arena, and Dreads can give us the lowdown there. Before we do, I just want to give you a heads up that this episode is sponsored by ZipRecruiter. Those of you not familiar with ZipRecruiter, it's a job site that it aggregates from many job sites out there. So, you know, instead of having to go on all these different job sites to go and try to track candidates and pick candidates, you can just go to ZipRecruiter and it does it all for you. And I've actually used ZipRecruiter a bunch recently because I've been trying to hire engineers and things like that. And on the first day I using a ZipRecruiter, signing up, just post your job, I literally got like 30 candidates sent to me, like 25 or 30 candidates sent to me, you know, and they just tell me like, hey, this person, you know, is a good fit for you. And I mean, it made my life like a million times easier than like going to whatever job site and having to, you know, to kind of track it yourself on the site. Like I just get these emails from ZipRecruiter and they're just like, oh, wow, this is super easy. So anyways, ZipRecruiter, you know, it again sends your job over to over 100 job leading leading jobs boards, and then they have like great technology. It matches you with what you're looking for really well too, with thousands of resumes. And then in the end, it says 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get quality candidates through the site within the first day. And that's kind of what I was talking about. I got like 30 candidates on the first day, which is crazy. So right now, so for ValueTown users, they're listening. Whoa, what is that? There's like a big old ambulance. But right now in ZipRecruiter, for all the ValueTown folks, you can use it for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/ValueTown. And again, ZipRecruiter.com/ValueTown. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Okay, let's talk about Arena. So let me switch over to Arena with this HS replay here. And Dreads, yeah, tell us about Arena.
Yeah, so I can give you like a quick lowdown on Arena. So for anyone, first off, who's not familiar with how Arena is now, Arena is no longer standard. So for the first time ever, regular Arena is not standard. It's they bring back different sets at different times. So rotating sets, I guess, would be the term for it. So right now, I think it's Naxxramas, Old Gods, Mean Streets of Gadgetzin, Basic, Classic, and Witchwood, I believe, are the ones in there right now. So it's a little bit of a different, different card pool. But yeah, as you can, you got up there right now. As you can see, it's not the most balanced meta right now. And to put these numbers in perspective, we've never seen a class that high ever in Arena. So Rogue is at 59%. And when Hunter was really broken when Spellstone first came out, it was maybe I think the 56% range. And Blizzard nerfed it like into the ground within like 2 or 3 days.
Right.
They haven't done it yet. I'm expecting Rogue to get nerfed heavily, hopefully, because it's once more and more people figure out that Rogue is by far the best, everyone will play it because they want to win. And so it'll turn into this. Did you queue into Rogue? Yes? Oh, you probably lose. No? Okay, yeah, no, you have a chance. Unless you're playing Rogue. So, definitely Rogue is by far the best. It's more of it's a tempo meta. So in the previous meta, it was like 3 drops were kind of king because you had things like Hildner Frost Rider, a lot of 3-mana 3/4s. So you didn't need to have as many 2 drops and really not 1 drops at all. But now there aren't as many of those cards, and there's some pretty good 2 drops. Also, Zombie Chow came back, although it's in a pretty high bucket, so you don't see it all that often. But yeah, it's a tempo meta, and Rogue is tempo, the best. And they get so kind of for an explanation of why Rogue is the best. So what they do to balance Arena now is they do these micro adjustments. And so how often you get the top bucket cards is adjusted, and that's a lot of how they balance stuff. And I don't know if this has been confirmed, but I believe what they did is they kind of took off these micro adjustments at the start of the expansion and kind of see how things go. And Rogue's best cards are a lot better than other classes' best cards.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of those. Let's
it used to be like Vile Spine, because in Arena they use a bucket system, so each pick should be 3 cards of a similar power level. And with Vile Spine, what the heck do you put against Vile Spine? It's by far the best, right? So there's just a lot of good cards in Rogue. Obviously, Vile Spine rotated, but you tend to get a ton of removal. So a lot of classes are starved for removal. Well, Rogue, they're like, here, have a Shadow Strike. Here, have some cheap shots. Have the new card's very good. The contract card, the 6-cost one.
Yeah, that's been played a bunch
Rogue
too.
Just have a ton of removal and just very, very high card quality as well. And just the hero power for Rogue is oftentimes the best for me. And in a tempo meta, it is the best. So yeah, and Red Warrior's terrible. I actually predicted that Priest would be the best based on the cards you were seeing coming in. But with taking the micro adjustments down, Rogue has kind of run away.
Priest is pretty far down though, man. It's
yeah, it is. I mean, I think
oh no, sorry, Priest is Priest is third. Sorry, I had the wrong thing. Yeah, Priest is third.
It's just compared to Rogue, everything's way worse, right?
Yeah.
But Warlock's still pretty good, and I would say Warlock is more defined by the cards that came back. So you have Abyssal Enforcer coming back, if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
So that's insane in Arena. Blast Crystal is back. It's not so much the new cards that came in, but just what we brought back. Warrior it's hard to make Warrior, I talked about this a little on stream yesterday. It's hard to make Warrior good, but not broken. So it's either dumpster tier or it's insane. So Warrior's broken in the last meta for a long, long time. Now I'm okay with it. I don't think all the classes in Arena.
Hey, you may move your mic a little closer. Is that possible? Yeah, it's just
just turn it up a little bit.
No, it's not that. It's just it's inconsistent. It's
cutting it down.
Or just softening and It's usually Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's Rogue is a bit too good right now, and they said that they were going to make changes 3 or 4 days in, I think, and so hopefully they will do that. Maybe
at the end of today they may. So is the breakdown usually? I mean, do we usually have more than 2 classes above 50?
It should be more than this. Yeah. Normally you're looking at 4, maybe.
Okay, 4 classes. Okay.
And more classes hovering around it. You pretty much, for an extended period of time, you never have something as low as 42%, I would think.
Yeah, that's
and
super.
Never something as high as 59. Maybe you're having 53, 54. But this is a little bit ridiculous. And like I said, I give them a pass on this because what they had to do is back in these old expansions, there was no bucket system.
Right.
And so they had to develop all these buckets for these, where to put these cards for this this rotation. That's a lot of work, and it's not that easy. So there are going to be a few that are like really misbucketed, and that's okay. Like they can fix it. They have time. They've only been out for a few days, and I'm assuming they will make those changes. But yeah, like they need to make them sooner rather than later, because Rogue is just like flying way ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure this is so egregious that they can't ignore this.
Yeah.
Let me say, like, what is Wild actually? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just curious.
Is Arena
Wild.
better now than before, or like is it more fun? But I guess not, because Rogue is so much better.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying it. Gaara. It's like it's been fun for me. It's hard to say if that's just because it's different. Like I've been playing the same meta for I don't know, 3 months or whatever, and so anything new is going to be a lot more fun, and nostalgia of bringing back the old cards. So I'm having fun with it. I can't say like until they fix Rogue, it's hard to really evaluate the meta of how fun it will be going forward. Like lackeys seem very strong, and maybe their power level is a little bit too high. But like they introduced, I enjoy a lot of the battle cry effects, and lackeys introduce the kind of randomness that I do like. Not everyone in the raid community agrees with me on this, but I like a bit of that. So it has a lot of this, and I also like a tempo meta, to be honest. I enjoy getting like incremental advantages and returns by playing a little bit better, and then eventually ending the game because of that. So it has the signs of being a good meta, but we have to wait and see until they adjust Rogue, because right now I don't even think there's a class that you can take and be like, oh, this is going to beat Rogue, because it's just too much. Like Hunter, maybe if you draft a really aggressive Hunter, you can smork them down, but I don't even think it's that reliable. So it's kind of.
I wonder if they should have made the Lucky card like Discover, but that would probably be way too strong then.
Which the 3-mana 1/5, the Evil Miscreant.
In general, like all the Lucky
cards. Like you discover a Lackey?
Yeah. Because the random aspect is really like.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected it to be a Discover 1 Lackey.
Yeah. But that would be, if you think about it, probably way too strong, right? It's so strong, the card. If you get.
Yeah, and part of the thing about Arena is like bucketing, right? So like the Evil Miscreant is in a lower bucket than it should be, and so you take it pretty much every single time. And as a result,
look at this 71 per. I mean, this is crazy. Like, no card should be quite like this.
Yeah. It's just because there's also offering bonus, so you're going to see the new cards more often, and then this is under bucketed. So
and it's
and also more likely to take it because it's just a new card, and they want to try out the new cards. So yeah, it's a bit stupid, but I think they'll fix it. And if you do a road draft, like I know you guys haven't had too much time to do it, but you'll immediately notice just the card quality is insane. Like each pick, you're like, wait, another premium pack, another premium one, and then you go draft a priest, and you have some pretty awful
junky ones, yeah.
So
I mean, look at all these new cards. Like maybe talk about some of the newer cards that really stand out. Like obviously Miscreant.
I made a quick list of them. A few of the names. Let me see what you have on the screen here. So the Dollar and Crusader is great. So in Arena, like a 5-mana 5/6 is just insane. And I would say that a 5-mana 5/4 with Divine Shield is a little bit better than a 5-mana 5/6.
Nice.
And also one thing to note about this card: if you get the Lackey with +1 attack and rush, you get a rush out a 6 attack minion.
Yeah.
Which is
I've learned to save that puppy for like bigger target or bigger minions. One, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So that card's really good. The card right above it, Burly Shovelfist. This was one that people in Arena were kind of saying, I don't know how good it is, just because it's 9 mana, and normally in Arena 9 mana cards aren't that good because you can't ping with it. So it's your whole turn. But the thing about it, and I would say this from the start, is it has rush. So it should,
9 mana rush is amazing. Yeah.
Devil Sword is a good card. If you guys remember that card, 8 mana 7/7 rush basically effect. This for 1 more mana you get +2/+2. So I'm like, it's gonna be really good, and it is. Like not being able to ping it's not enough of a downside for this card not to be insane. And also in the meta right now, so Bog Creeper is back in Arena, and you also have the Etten card, the 5/9. And so this thing just goes into those cards so nicely. Also Sagoth, you don't see it much, but don't pick Sagoth in Arena right now because this thing just eats it, for lunch. So that card's really good, and also a little bit under bucketed. So oftentimes that's the ones that are the most egregious, where they're really good and under bucketed because you're going to see them all the time.
That's a good point, though. The bucketing is like so crucial. I mean, the bucketing is a mechanism to just fixing all of this. So
yeah, that's how they do it. Just some other ones to note. So Eccentric Scribe is really good. It's a 6 mana 6/4 spawn 4/1/1s on Death Rattle. So it's kind of like a neutral high main effect. So if you remember, Violet Worm was insane in Arena. This kind of has a similar effect where like good luck removing that, right? Faceless Trader. I don't know how high that is up on their list, but it's a pretty cool card in Arena. So it's a 5/1, but it copies the health of something, and so you get pretty good swings with that, like in the mid game. Nice. So yeah, so those are kind of the main neutrals, I would say, that are really, really important. Just for some class cards, we don't have to pull them all up, but we already mentioned Evil Miscreant is insane.
Yeah.
Underbelly Fence is okay. Like it's a 2 mana 2/3, so it's not going to be bad. And then if you get the thing to know about that is if you get like the tri-class discover cards, then that activates it immediately. So you don't actually have to discover something or get something. Just having that in your hand is enough to activate it. Yeah, and then Hinchclanberg was really good. Unidentified Contract is really, really strong. So Unidentified Contract, if you hit the destroy a minion plus the betrayal effect, it's kind of like a meteor, which obviously meteor is a really good card. So yeah, Rogue got a lot of good cards, and just for some of the other classes, one of the big offenders for the bucketing system is Mage with Conjurer's Calling. If you guys know the destroy a minion, summon 2 equal to its cost.
Yeah.
That card is just I almost want to say it's too strong for Arena because it's just that's so much tempo, and you can use it twice in the same turn. And it's bucketed lowly. It's like bucket 6 or something. And so if you high roll and get 1 or 2 of those, then it's disgusting. So they probably need to adjust that. Yeah, for Priest, Hinchclan Shadecool is a really big card for Arena. It's a 4 mana 4/7 with Death Rattle heal 5, I think, for your opponent. But that's so much tempo to play a 4 mana 4/7 in Arena. That's really good. Shaman, Hagatha Scheme, and Walking Fountain are really good cards. So Hagatha Scheme is the big AoE card. I had a fun Shaman deck where I had a bunch of 4 mana 7/7s. And then I was using those to go face, and then my opponent would spread, and I'd use the scheme to wipe their board like over and over again. It was pretty dumb. And then Walking Fountain is one other I wanted to mention for Shaman.
I love Walking Fountain. Yeah,
good card. Yeah, like it makes things like Hunter, like it just destroys Hunter, right? Like stabilization, and then it leaves a threat oftentimes left on the board. So
the healing too, like the healing is so great for Shaman.
Yeah, so they a lot of good neutrals. Coming into Arena, and it's fun. I mean, I have to play more before I can say if the meta is going to be good or how skillful it's going to be. These are, for me, those are questions I address later on. Like right now, it's just, am I having a good time playing, and do I want to play more? And overall things are pretty good.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. So here's a good question for you guys, and just probably everybody else in the chat too. What do you think the most okay, we'll have a couple questions. We'll think, what's the most surprising card to you, after it came out, after, you've been playing the game now for 2 or 3 days, and then what's still the most underrated card in y'all's opinion? That will be good, just hasn't, it will be good in this expansion, but just people haven't realized yet. So what's the most surprising card that you would say?
For me in Arena, the Faceless Trader was a little surprising, just how good it is. Because
Faceless Trader,
a 3 mana 5/2 isn't that bad, and when you do hit it on like a 6 health creature, it's pretty disgusting. So I thought it would be good, but I didn't necessarily think it would be that good. That's probably a big like underrated one. It's hard to think of ones that are kind of like sleepers, because like you figure it out fairly quickly in Arena. So it's. Yeah, like I could think about it, but it's hard to. At this point, after playing 30 hours and just talking with people, you kind of have a good idea of what is or
right.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Gar? Like any cards that really surprised you?
Surprised in like that it's not played.
No,
maybe.
Well, that's like, underrated. That's or underrated is just like there's a card that people just haven't even realized is super good, but I wanted to start with
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, one card.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
expected Waggle Pick to be good,
Yeah,
but not that good.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah. I know what you mean.
Like when when I talked about the card, I was like, okay, this will be played. You know, the good the 4-drops are rotating out, but this card is apparently so good that it's like dominating the meta already.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like surprising.
It seems like it works so well with the rogue cards that came in, and just the plan for rogue, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just tempo, right? It's all about
another
Shadow
card,
Step, right?
Another rogue card is definitely Vendetta. The reason for that was that rogue has already so much removal. It's like this was like the #1 argument for most people. You have already backstabs, you have already zaps, you have already eviscerates. You will get the Waggle Pick. Does rogue really need, one more? Like, would you play? Like, how many removals do you play? And the answer is, yeah, you still play.
The answer is deal 4 is
yes. I mean, Vendetta is like ridiculously good. It's a crazy.
I wonder
what's
the cap,
I wonder what the average mana cost is for this thing. It's got to be like 0.2 or something like that, right? 0.3.
Get another class card, right?
Yeah, it's got to be something ridiculously low. I mean, if we're gonna talk about this, yeah, I would say that to me, I think ChanmanV like is a lot better. Like, it's being used a lot more than I thought it would be, because I was thinking, oh, Myra definitely crossed my mind, but I just like, oh yeah, no way, right? But having it be like so strong, and I mean, I see it, and even in like, I've been trying to even use it in just any control deck just to get some crazy amount of power at the end of some control versus control games. So this card has surprised me too, just in terms of like it can literally give you a miraculous win at the end of a game, which is crazy.
It's like, it was pretty, yeah. It's like you said, it's like, it was kind of like predictable which cards are going to be good, especially if you talk with people. But the only thing would be like, you didn't expect certain cards to be that powerful. Another one would be like Blastmaster Boom, like the new Dr. Boom, because it didn't have, the immediate, like, people expected this card to be okay, but maybe not like that crazy powerful. It became more clear like after the first reveal stream, the pre-reveal stream.
Man, I thought this card was gonna be great. Like, if anything, this card is like, I think it's a little less. Like, yeah.
What is the win rate of this card being played? Like,
let me see.
You almost never lose if you get to play this card. It's actually,
well, I mean, like, I think it's one of those things where the class doesn't even really need it. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's kind of like ChanmanV. Just throw this thing in because it's like crazy good, and you might as well, have it. Okay, 63%.
It's kind of like Shivala, like the Ragnaros. It's like, oh, cool.
Wow, Eternal Rover's got a 65. Wow, that's crazy on Mulligan. I guess
that's what people always ask me. Why do you play 2 of those? Why do you play? Well, it's the highest win rate card of the deck.
Yeah, and then if you get like magnetics on it, it's disgusting. Like, literally, the 3/8 magnetic on that thing is disgusting. But
yeah, my Merlin Shaman didn't like that card too much.
yeah. That one. Yeah, so Boom is, I mean, they always get like 4 of these things for me. When I play, I never see anything less than 4 when they play this card. And it's like, and
it has crazy good synergy with the bomb mechanic to just kill.
Yeah, I know. So it's pretty brutal. But to be honest, they don't even need this card. I mean, I would not be surprised if somewhere, in the near future, this card is replaced by some other more control-y type of card. Like Alyssa's not even. Alyssa's not even.
Is the same with Rogue though? Like, a lot of the cards Rogue just didn't need, and you play it because, oh, cool.
I mean, might as well. Yeah, might as well give you an even better chance to win when you're already winning, kind of thing.
It's the same with the Omega Devastator in Warrior. Like, Warrior didn't need it, but
Devastator?
It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think they do. I mean, it just basically replaces either Execute or Shield Slam. Like,
I got a little triggered about that card when it comes to Arena. Like, Warrior's so bad that it doesn't matter right now.
Yeah,
like, that card it's not okay in Arena.
It's Vile Spine, right? It's basically Vile Spine.
Well, yeah, it's never bad, because even if you just tempo it in Arena, it's still a Yeti, right? Which is one of the 4 drops. And
the best part, it's also Meg. It's like
it's so stupid. I mean, the Omega cards, like also Omega Agent from Warlock, like those cards they're not. Yeah. I mean, just like most things, they're not made for Arena, and Arena isn't even the second or third thought about them. And that's, that's fine. But like if Warrior is actually decent, Omega Devastator will be just painful to play against. Because on turn 10, they kill your, I don't know, your Iron Bark Protector or whatever.
Right.
Yeti. It's 5 more mana to play more stuff. Like it's not okay. But luckily, I mean, Warrior's in the dumpster, so it's not really.
Well, that's not that shouldn't be all right though. Just because
another card is sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But another card that surprised me how good it felt whenever it was played was the Boom River, the 10 mana card.
What?
Like whenever you get to play that guy.
Which one? Oh, you mean the mech? Yeah, dude. Whenever people get that card, from Omega Assembly and stuff, holy shit! It's like, oh man, these things got rushed too. It's like, oh, it's brutal. Nobody actually runs it, right? Nobody actually runs the card, right? Yeah, they only get it off of that. Yeah.
Another thing is it summons a copy, so it doesn't lose your fatigue games or anything.
Yeah.
It's just
I know the card you're talking about now.
Yeah, let me find it. It's right here. It's the 10 mana. It summons a copy of a minion in your deck, and it gives it rush. But normally Boom River has rush too because you have Dr. Boom armed at that point. So it's like, oh my god.
When you're discovering or getting generated mechs, you just want value from it, and that's a ton of value.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like a win condition oftentimes. If you go to these crazy long fatigue games, then your opponent has no more removals. And if you play this guy, you oftentimes just win because you have 2 big threats.
Yeah. Well, you never play. I mean, I generally this card can be bad in a fatigue matchup, right? Because it actually pulls something from your deck too. So it really just depends on this
copy.
Oh, it's a copy. Oh, sorry.
That's why I said
copy.
It's never bad.
Yeah, it's never bad. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. That's true. It's true. There's some big control warriors out there, or there's some big warriors out there too that try to utilize this too. But I just think it's just whatever throw in. It's just great. I always hate seeing it. That's how you know it's a good card, because whenever somebody just plays it and you always feel like a little pain in your gut whenever it happens, that's usually a good sign that it's a pretty powerful card. Actually, I'm trying to look at like Shaman if there's anything, because I've been playing so much Shaman. Is there anything that's surprised me in Shaman? I mean, I think you mentioned at least one of them, which was the Fountain. I think the Fountain's been extremely good. Like I usually just play it like on an 8 and just remove whatever 2, but I've been combining it with so I've been playing a lot of Elemental Shaman too, and so I've been combining it with the buff, the 2+2+2 buff, and able to just like do 12 heals like off of it. So if you add those heals plus the new 4 mana heal, the what's it called? God, I'm so bad at names right now. What's the 4 mana heal? The Echo one. Oh, Witch's Brew. Witch's Brew. Yeah, Witch's Brew. Like if you have Witch's Brew and that, and even if you have Omega Mind too, I mean, Shaman's got crazy amounts of heals in the class right now. And that's why sometimes I can just stand toe to toe with control warriors, and just as long as I'm like super efficient about my heals, I can just beat it. And that's not even mentioning whatever spells I get from Hagatha. So it's pretty fun going toe to toe there. But surprisingly, like Krogwall sucked for me. I mean, Storm Surge, I've almost dropped this card actually. This card, it's like outside of like Lightning Bolts, I don't really need it like for the most part. So it's been pretty cool. Shaman's definitely got a ton of tools though. It's really, really fun to play. If you guys haven't ever played Dog's Malagos spell deck, that you guys should play it, because you'll really enjoy it, or you'll get a sense for like all the different discounts and heals and direct damage and mana cheating and everything. Like Shaman still has all these like really, really cool things. So I think that Shaman will be good down the road, but right this second, I think it's still taking a back seat to Warrior. Yeah, so I mean, any other cards that you'd think popped out? Any of the Hunter cards? I feel like some of these cards might have. I mean, I didn't really talk that much about Hunter prior, and I feel like there's a ton of great cards right now in Hunter.
One card definitely that was under the radar is the Crypt's Reveal card. No, what was it, Thais? Thais or Crypt? Conjurer's Calling, the mage 3 mana spell. You played it actually now. There's like a new like spiteful mage deck that popped up, which is super strong. It's almost possible to deal with the threats.
Oh,
and they run.
calling. There you go. Okay.
They actually run that card.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like actually, Drez was talking about it, right? Like this was disgustingly.
It's disgusting. You get 4 minions from with Khadgar.
You get I mean, in Arena, you're not like you don't have the tools to deal with that kind of stuff.
and also in Constructed, then you can like, if there's no answer in Constructed, then how do you deal in Arena? And that's one of the reasons why Warrior is good, because Warrior has Brawl. No other class has actually these super big removals anymore. Shaman has like the scheme, but you need like insane amount of turns for this to stack up that you know that you can kill 4 Deathwings or whatever.
Yeah, APX Void has a great mage. It was so funny because like when he posted it, he got to, I don't know, rank 1 or something with it, or really he had a crazy win percentage with it. So I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And I look at it and it's just like a hodgepodge of like all kinds of cards. I'm like, where's the synergy in all this stuff? And then you kind of realize that, I mean, there's like a mix of dragons and Conjurer's Calling and giants. And I mean, there's like all kinds of Book of Specters is also in it. But in the end, man, when you start playing it, it's actually really sticky. Like these cards are really hard to remove. Like things like Twilight Drake, as we know, or Scorcher, or Safeguard, or any of these cards. It's like crazy hard. And then by the time you get to Power of Creation, it's just like, oh man. Crazy.
And obviously Exotic Mount Seller, the neutral card that summons a 3-cost beast.
Where? Wait, exotic? What?
Exotic Mount Seller. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 3-cost beast. That's in the deck too.
Oh, really? I didn't exotic. Yeah. I didn't even wait. What is this exotic? What? I don't even know if I know.
Exotic Mount Seller.
Oh, the girl. Yeah. Right. Yeah, summon a 3-costed beast.
Most underrated card.
Yeah, you think so?
Officially. Okay. I mean, nobody really expected this card to be played in any day.
Like how many? So you cast like 2 sheep cards, like maybe the freeze cards and the I don't know, Arcane Missile or something like that, and
it's just so sticky. The stats are
This is like
good.
This is like Matriarch, but like a million times better. Like instead of like healing, you can just cast spells, right? This is really, really good.
And if you have Khadgar, you just get like
oh my god, you just fill your board. That's true. Oh my god.
So you always have like a crazy Khadgar combo.
Yeah, but that's
also like
Khadgar is a huge part of this deck. The Khadgar, I think making Khadgar work is.
Yeah, also the old card that draws 3 minions from your deck. Like when it's just such a strong new like Kelesev or like Spiteful, whatever you want to call it. Like
is this the best dragon deck, you think?
It's so when I played against this, it's been like by far the best like Spiteful mid-range deck. Whatever you want to call it. Like, how do we even call decks these days? Just minions. 30 minions.
It's purely Khadgar, though. It's like Khadgar with, like, just creates that one turn, right? That one turn that's just exceptional. And that usually gives you enough tempo the rest of the way.
But you have also giants and this girl. The crazy thing is, if you play this girl, because I've seen now Shriek being summoned way more often, like the 1/1 drop.
Really? Okay, Shriek.
Yeah. Because there's like less A-drops, much less A-drops, legendaries. But if you get that, you got unlucky, right? And then you just play the freaking mage spell.
The Conjurer's Calling.
Yeah. Like you get unlucky, who cares? You just play
just
this.
Give me 4 of them. It's cool.
No, wait. No, is it that mage spell? You can do something with it and get something better. Which other card is it?
The Conjurer's Calling, the 3 cost.
Conjurer's Calling gives you 2 copies of it, right?
No, it's of the cost.
Yeah, it's of the cost.
The cost.
Exactly.
It's the cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you when you get better RNG, you just get.
You just use that RNG to be the next creation.
Right.
It's like you have to be really.
It's all relative. Yeah. Start bad, but know you're going to be moving up. Yeah.
That's fine. Ha. Let me just try again.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
The first one doesn't even matter, guys. Like it's what the second one is.
But I think that's a card that like could get. If Mage was a bit better, like I think that's a card that could get banned from Arena. They don't do it that much anymore, but it's just very, it's just really stupid.
I mean, it's twin spell too. Like that's just like crazy cherry on top, like crazy value cherry on top.
And 3 is cheap.
And you can play 2 of these, so you really have 4 of these cards. That's insane. That's really, really nuts. I haven't gotten a chance to play. This is definitely the next deck.
Like when I played against it, it felt super strong, but I don't know the weaknesses of the deck. It might just get smooshed by Rogue. I don't know.
From what I've watched Lowdown streams. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It seems like if you can draw poorly with it, like if you don't get the Conjurer's Calling or a few of those things, and you can struggle. But it seems like there's enough, ways to generate big guys that it should be fine. But yeah.
What's Book of, so Book of Specters? I mean, is that just for some value at the end? I mean, no, it's just like draw minions, right?
It's
just
crazy. It's just crazy.
Minions. Yeah. Okay.
You just play it every time. Then you play 3-mana Giants, Astromancer with like 10 cards.
Yeah, I guess getting the Giants out early is like huge for this deck because like these cards aren't that bad to remove. Like and there's only a couple times. I guess that's why they have the Protector in here just to like cause some taunt.
Yeah, you get the Giant out early, you get a free kill because it's a Giant, and then you use your Conjurer's Calling, and it's like, yeah, it's just disgusting.
Safeguard is beautiful in this deck, though. I mean, like this is the deck to like have anything that stalls out, right? So Safeguard probably functions really, really well in this deck too, because you want to get to that turn 9. Probably turn 9. Turn 9 is probably a magic point for or turn 8 or turn 9 for this deck. So if you can just get there, you're probably in super good shape. Like if you haven't taken that much damage. So yeah, this deck's fun, man. I'm gonna take a look at that. One thing I've been trying to do too, even just the Shaman. Like Shaman, I'm always holding a crap load of cards. Like I feel like I need to add freaking Giants but I just don't know how to fit them in. So it's crazy. But yeah, so Mage, give that a try, guys. Mage is definitely one of those classes that got a lot of new stuff, and it's obviously really fun to play a lot of new stuff. Okay, well, let's see. Why don't we move on? Let's talk a little bit about the Grandmaster announcement, which was the EU roster of folks. And, this isn't that surprising given that we knew the leaked ones like for a while now. But so it's pretty much just confirming that the leaked ones were right. But, we've got Hunter. We've got basically a combination of, I would say, people that did really, really well in points, and folks that are, I think good pro players and also streamers, like they're popular as well. So, we've got, let's see what we got. Hunter Ace, Seiko, Fino, Jarla, Casey, which is great. Boar Control, Boston, Swids, and Tice, Pavel, Pavel's back, and Orange, as well as Calento, Bunny Hopper, and Silver Name. Oh, and RDU too. So a lot of folks that we obviously know, but I think that again this confirms. I mean, it gives a little bit more resolution as to like maybe how they picked. I mean, there's definitely top point earners on here, so definitely combine that. But there's also some folks that I would say are more streamers and more popular, right? And I don't know if it's going to be something that you agree with, Gaara, but I definitely can understand, them going that direction in terms of trying to get more popular people too, like to bring some attention to it. You don't have to get Crip or anything like that, like don't have Crip and Toast in it or anything like that. But definitely, if you're going to pick pro players, trying to pick some popular folks seems to be the right approach, at least in the first year. Thoughts on the announcement and the people that they picked?
All of these players are like very, very good, but if you look at the competitive scene in Hearthstone, there's like 200 players you can name alone from Europe probably, which you could add to this list, like there's like Sintolol, Hoy, and like Six. So if you just keep like naming them, I'm pretty sure it's like 200 people, right? And you would be like, okay, fair point. This guy could have been in here. The approach, wow, Grandmasters in general. Well, it's the only competitive tournament we have, right? There's no more ladder system, there's no point system. Ladder is completely useless, basically. If you get any high legend finish, you qualify for one open cup, basically. That's all it is. And like, it's actually not much better than just a regular open cup. Like, only top 4 advances instead of the first winner. But it's the same amount of people, but much, much better players. Like everyone who finished up to win a legend. and in a regular cup, everyone can participate. So then that makes those spots much more desirable, obviously, right? Because that's all we have. It's that tournament. And how many of those tournaments we have? 3 per year? That's so it makes these spots even more desirable. So every sport kind of has to be like very carefully chosen. And I'm not sure. It's a very like controversial topic, you know, like because nobody knows how these. If you read the guidelines, is like how they see people fit. Like
but they're not going to tell you that. I mean, they don't. I don't even think they have an algorithm. It's probably like a council of people, you know, and they have to choose. You know, they have to, you know, argue over why and why not. And it's a tough thing with only this what 16 spots. It's tough. It's not gonna. It's not easy.
I don't disagree with these people. Like if you look at all these resumes for every single player, they all have crazy resumes, crazy results in their competitive. But for other people to get in, it's like you don't really know.
Yeah. Well, the feeding system, it needs work, no question.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Now you have this close group of already established people. Like, how do you? Okay, if you just look at Hunter Race as a new competitive aspiring player, how do you beat his resume? Like, how do you get into this instead of him? It's like impossible.
Well, you're not going to. Like, I mean, I think that after the first year, you have to earn your way in, right? Like, but the first year, it is. Who can, you know, who looks convincing enough, right, for the that's going to give the league the most chance to succeed, or this grandmaster the chance to succeed. So yeah, I mean, right now it's pretty hard to go. I mean, it would have been nice if you could have, I don't know, like they could have interviewed everybody too. You know, it's like politician. They can put their Hearthstone politician hat on and try to you know, give reasons as to why. But Dreads, I'm curious I'm curious to ask you, Dreads, like as a, you know, spectator, kind of like myself, right, for this whole grandmaster thing. Like, do you think they should go? Like, how much of it do you think should be legitimacy of top point earner versus super popular?
So for me, as like a pretty casual watcher of Hearthstone, I enjoy it, but I'm way more likely to watch an event if I recognize people that are in it.
Right.
That's how it is. Like I don't really care too much about, let me figure out what the best decks are, how to play these decks. I just enjoy tuning in for, you know, an hour or two and watching it. So, you know, I recognize names like Tice, obviously Hunter Ace. I mean, he was insane last year. And I recognize a lot of the names on the list. And so, you know, for me, like I'm probably more likely to watch because I do know, you know, I recognize people. But the other question of it is, you know, how fair is it? You know, that's just way out of my, you know, my expertise. It seems from what I've seen on Twitter, it seems pretty hard to get these spots and trying to get, you know, up to that level. How do you do it? So obviously it seems like there needs to be some work on that end. But for me, as someone who, you know, just like they have a lot of Twitch events now where like they feature streamers with the Twitch rivals and stuff. And like, I enjoy watching those because I recognize the names. And so this is kind of a similar thing. Like I'll probably watch more competitive Hearthstone because these names are involved.
Okay. So I'm going to, like, just so for the sake of discussion, I'm just going to go like crazy one side and see like how you guys react to it. What would have happened if they had Crip and Toast and like went egregious on that side of things? Would
that's kind of where they had to draw the line, right?
Okay. So you think like, that would have compromised just the integrity of the league from the beginning? But you would watch it, right? Yeah, people would watch it though, right? So
I would watch it.
Like Kibler, like getting Kibler in there and getting all those guys. Like,
I mean, I would
still watch it. Can you imagine Crip versus Colento? Can you imagine? You want to see?
I guess for me with this lineup, it's like, yeah, there's some people that they probably got picked because they're popular, but they're also really, really good, and they still do try to play in some of the, I don't know all the terms of the open cups or whatever, how it works right now. So if you take people that don't do anything in the competitive scene and just put them into this tournament, which is, it seems like this is the competitive scene for Hearthstone now, then that's, you know, that I feel like that would be taking it a little bit too far. But I would be all for like some other events where you have, you know, Crip and Toast and whoever else in like a, you know, invitational thing. Like,
I mean, we've seen that. You know, I think that sure, like I would too. You know, I think that the entire community would love to see that. But there is a difference between seeing them in that capacity and seeing them in what is, considered the the competitive.
Seeing them in their try hard.
Right, right, and I think, and if there's a time to do it, it's the first year, right? If there's a time to actually try, and then let's say the feeding system was good, like relegations was, I don't know, more than it is, like more spots, then it would correct itself anyways, right? Over time, and people would, maybe you'd lose out on it. But at least you'd have that initial moment when we get to see these guys. It feels like old school Hearthstone, like old time Hearthstone, when we literally had, like all the big streamers were considered the best players, and they would go against each other. So
I of course, I think of Masters stuff, like, you could have like a little mini arena tournament somehow in there.
Well, of course. I mean, that's assumed too as well. Like we need some of that too.
I love something like that, but it's just not.
We need that as well too. But so yeah, I definitely an extremely difficult job for them. I still don't think that, I don't know. Firebat was making a pretty good argument last week that we are talking about over, it's like 48 plus whatever China is. That's a lot of people to follow. Just generally in a competitive scene. And I guess when he talks about it like that, it's true. But 16 per region, it just feels like very little, given, especially in EU. I mean, there's like so many good players in EU that are.
That's my
notable,
main point. That's what, it's not about these people. You want to see these people. I think all of them deserve to be there, but it feels like too little spots.
Yeah. For
how many good players. Like if you look at Sintolo, he's like the first one who comes to my mind.
He's there every year. Like
his achievement list also, like how much he tries and everything. He's kind of like on a KC level for sure, right? In terms of like his performance, he went to, he did so well. He qualified so many times. He won so many things and everything, and it just feels like too little spots, right? Because there's so many players like that. Also, like not super popular, like because they're not big streamers, but there's so many very good players.
Guys
like
really bad, right? Like someone who maybe is just more popular name, like Tice, let's say, or whatever.
I mean, Pavel. Like what has Pavel done in the last year?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't logged into Hearthstone for a year.
And so then you're Sentinel and you don't get in.
He's playing out the chess.
I would be pretty upset, right? Like that's the other side of it. If you put yourself in their shoes and you're the odd man out, it would feel pretty terrible, right? And I think for some of them, like it might be enough for them to kind of get, if they're kind of on the fringe about how much they love Hearthstone, they might just kind of be like, something else, right?
It's true. That's true.
So you don't want to lose.
I feel bad, like for people that really try. There's like a lot of people that are not like the top tier popular, but them. You know what I mean? Like tier 2 popular level, and they try really, really hard. They grind their asses off, especially with these open cups. You see on Twitter, like people getting into top 8 for the like 20th time in a row, and you always have to play like for 12 hours straight to get there, and only first place qualifies for Vegas. And
it's brutal.
And you have to pay for your own travel and everything, even if you make it. But people grind hard, and then you're like, okay, this guy got in because he's famous. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel bad for other people. Like,
I mean, sure, and I think the fairness of it, you can debate that all day, but in the end, it is about the success of the league, right? And integrity matters. That obviously is one of the factors that plays into it. But we've had an HCT where, I mean, we've really gotten lucky that we've had these pretty notable names continue to win over and over and over again, and they're people that we can talk about, and there's people that have a decent personality as well. But we've already kind of gone down the route, and look, nobody watches it. Let's just be honest. Nobody watches HCT.
That's why I find it so funny. It's the complete opposite. HCT was way too much. It was like a tournament every weekend, like 2 HCTs every weekend, and now we have like one of these tournaments every 4 months with 16 spots.
No, it's not like that. No, it's not like that. They're playing matches as we go. It's like an 8-week type of thing, right? Like they'll be like, I forget, 2 to 4 matches or something each week. So it's going to be spread out. Like,
but getting into it is basically impossible.
Yeah, no relegation in the first season.
This right now, and you're trying to get in.
Yeah.
Come play Arena.
Come play Arena. There you go.
Go play Arena. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about real quickly about the meta in these cups. You know, because Gaara, I think you've experienced it or been keeping track of it. And I saw a recent spreadsheet. I was trying to find it earlier. I should have freaking copied the link when I first saw it. I can't remember who it was that was keeping track. I don't think it was Ray. It was somebody who was keeping track of just what was happening, like in terms of what decks were being played and in the cup. And it was basically all warrior and all rogue with some hunter kind of sprinkled in there. So let's talk about specialists. You know, from the standpoint of conquest, I think we've seen what conquest is like when a new expansion comes out. It's awesome. It's great. But in terms of specialists, what are we talking here? Is it interesting at all? Like is you know, this kind of like rogue dominated type of meta, you know, or just if people think that there's one class that's dominating, how does that feel right now in specialists?
Like I can talk so much about specialists, but there's so many different aspects to talk about. Like the format, like I have so much experience with playing like tournaments in Hearthstone, and like you kind of want to also compare it with Conquest and LHS, right? Because those are the two formats we had before. And if Specialist is a format that fits for Hearthstone, that game, and Hearthstone really feels like, maybe is it because we are already used to it? You know, it's kind of like with the YouTube layouts changing and then everyone hates it. You know, if this is just one of those things, you played so many like Conquest tournaments and LHS tournaments that you're like used to play more than one deck. And that's why you don't like it. And then, you know, after a year, we would just get used to it, just playing one deck. But it feels, I wouldn't say it feels that boring to play one deck. It's like less stressful. You know, if you're like a streamer or content creator, whatever, just being, you know, focusing on one deck, practicing one deck and all the matches one deck is way less stressful. It's so much better from that regard. And then you think about the sideboard of one class. The problem is the balance, 100%, I would say. It was way worse, I would say, before the rotation, because we had mid-range Hunter. Like 80% of tournament cups were won by Hunter, and the popularity was even higher. It's like you literally, when your experience was, okay, I have to beat 14 Hunters to win a cup. It can't be like that. If you want to enforce such a format, you can't have just one class being better than all the other classes. That's stupid. And also it makes it way more boring. But I would also not want to watch. Would you want to watch a tournament where you see, okay, 16 players bringing 16 Hunters and then they play best of threes? Like, that sounds like the most boring tournament ever. And
I mean, but okay, here's a counter argument. If everybody's bringing the same thing, isn't it easy just to counter everybody?
No, because it's the deck turned out to be, because people are not stupid. There's like very, very smart people playing this game on a high level. And if it would be that easy to counter deck, everyone would just do it. Sometimes there's only like a deck that could counter this but lose to everything else, then it's just not good enough.
Yep.
But usually the best deck in Hearthstone is really freaking good that it just beats everything consistently. Kind of like Rogue right now. It's like when you looked at the HS replay spreadsheet, oh, no red matchups. That's a pretty good deck also to play in Specialist. Yeah. But we have no bad matchups, so nice. And you can sideboard to make it like okay, if Warrior is the only bad matchup, then you have a sideboard where you play like 5 extremely good cards versus Warrior. The game balance is very important, or class balance is very important in Specialist, obviously, more than in Conquest or in LHS, because you can have multiple decks, a strategy that evolves around targeting certain archetypes, certain decks, and stuff like that. And Specialist is so much more straightforward, and it relies on your class, right?
Yeah, so I mean, if there is a class that has more utilities and more tools, then that class is just going to be the most popular class to pick, even conceptually speak at, you know, from an abstract standpoint. Dreads, have you had any experience? Like, I forget, did you play card games before Hearthstone? Like, did you play Magic and sideboarding?
I didn't really play
poker.
It.
Okay.
It's a very little. I played some Pokemon like card game.
Yeah, but nothing. Nothing like this. Yeah, I mean, I didn't either, but I know that, you know, sideboarding obviously was something that's very popular in Magic and you know, other card game as one of their main formats, actually. So you know,
that specialist thing or anything too much.
Yeah. I mean, it just so you or any of the listeners or watchers, aren't caught up with what specialist. It's the new format that they're going to be using for competitive Hearthstone. And what it is it introduces like this concept of sideboard, but it's not really like a sideboard. And I think that's one of the main issues with it. And so what it is like you pick a class and you build this like base deck. These 30 cards, just your base deck, and then you can build 2 more decks where you're allowed to change any 5 cards in that base deck. It has to still be that base deck. So you can only change 5 cards, and you can change either overlapping 5 cards or just, 5 completely new cards, and build 3 decks. A sideboard is where in between games, you literally have, you actually have like a pool of cards that you can switch whatever you want between cards. And I think that's, I'm not sure if that would completely solve the issues, but I feel like that's a big issue too, is that it's not a true sideboard. It's kind of one. Go ahead.
I think we never had, like in any card game that I played that had a sideboard, it always had also a ban list. Like Hearthstone is weird in a way. Like, because like some cards shouldn't, like sideboard is very good for like a tournament structure, right? To, balance, like to be able to counter stuff that is like off the charts broken, but counter cards that would be bad in general in your deck, but to be able to beat certain things. But ban list is equally as important, because some cards are just, fun cards, if you just want to have fun. But in a tournament, they're like not competitively balanced. I think Elysiana is a very good example. Like, just that card existing makes open cups last on average 3 hours longer, and they already lasted 12 hours, which was already long. Now the average time to complete open cup is 15 hours. Just think about it. These tournaments don't start like at 7 a.m. in the morning. They're like starts usually at 5 p.m. your time, wherever you live, and then from 5 p.m. your time you have to play 15 hours, and it's like 3 a.m. in the night. Like, I'm gonna play a tournament cup which I qualified for tonight at 3 a.m. my time. That's when it starts, and then it lasts 15 hours. It's actually crazy.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm hoping that Rogue is the meta and it's not Control Warrior, okay? Because can you imagine these Control Warriors? They're like, okay, well, I lost that first game, so if I build the second deck, how can I last an extra 10 turns? An extra 5 turns to like win the game. Oh gosh, that would be
But that's terrible. The thing. If people say, oh yeah, you can counter this card or this deck, just play aggro or whatever. In a tournament, you have a lot of people playing with a lot of different decks. So there will be at least 2 players playing this crazy fatigue mirror match, like Control Mage versus Control Warrior. And like, it's so funny to see the chat, because we have like this Blizzard official chat. Some people finish after like 50 minutes because they play aggro mirror, Rogue Mirror, and then they have to wait 3 hours for the next round because 2 players get paired with their freaking Control Shaman Mirror with like double Baleful Banker, double Yawful Brewmaster, Elysiana, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
And another thing is, it was very predictable, because that's how you build these sideboards in these tournaments. Like, we played already for 1 month. You just try to go as greedy as you can, and obviously,
I'm definitely worried about it. Like, there's no question. It's definitely closer to worst case scenario than it is the best case scenario, and that's oh god, that's just going to be crazy, and it's going to be even more obvious when the World Championships, which is going to play Conquest, is going to be really interesting and cool with this new, with all the new cards and expansion in the meta, and then we see like a specialist tournament like right after that, and it's going to be like not good, and I'm super worried about that right now, just because it's picking this single deck kind of thing is very risky, because there's not much flexibility. Like, you actually have to have the game in a really great state for this to happen. Like, actually
what's
work.
Funny?
So
what I think the main reason for specialist was a tournament length. I really
Yeah,
think so.
logistic. It's like more
Tournaments
logistical, yeah, than anything else.
Tournaments lasted too long on average. I think that was a really big problem for like organizers and stuff.
Right.
But these Specialist Cups they last way longer than before.
That's gonna be
way
sad
longer.
if that's
it's
the
actually
case.
hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, like hoping things change up a little bit, because you know I could handle more of a hunter versus hunter type of stuff than you know, than warrior versus warrior. But I agree, like banning. I think banning would be whatever kind of banning would definitely, you know, I think create a better type of environment in terms of format than just having, you know, this specialist sideboard. I still think there's a chance the sideboard could work, but it's so hard because the mentality of every single player right now, just in the pro scene, is to find the best deck, period. You know, like in Hearthstone, and kind of build from that deck, right? Like your base deck is going to be some deck that just outright wins a ton in Hearthstone, and then you kind of adjust off of that. Where I think like a really awesome type of scenario or ecosystem for a sideboard type of format would be when people kind of look at non-perfect decks, you know, but you're looking at a 40 card meta, you know, and you're trying to figure out like where flexibility actually is rewarded. Where right now, I don't think flexibility is. Like everybody's just going to play the best, you know, whatever the #1 ranked, you know, meta deck is right now. Maybe hopefully it evolves from there, but at least in the beginning, that's all anybody's doing.
And usually, like the best deck also benefits even more from the sideboard.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So I mean, I think that it's probably the right thinking, just because there's a lot of smart people playing at the top of pro Hearthstone, but I still feel like there may be a small chance that there is still this kind of like, I think outside the box that still could be done. But anyways, gonna move on. We got a few minutes left. Wanted to get to just at least one question, or maybe one or two questions you guys have. We got a question from Tito Santana from Twitter that asks, are there any legendaries thus far? And this is a good one for you, Dreads. Is there any legendaries thus far that are clear cut, safe to craft? Like, which one would you craft? It's so good enough to craft. Well, maybe not, since it's not an arena question, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like,
but, yeah, I mean,
know.
Yeah, basically.
Coolest if I get it arena.
That's true. Maybe so. We don't want to get Lady in White again, is what he said. I'm trying to wait until the meta shakes out a bit, but I have 9K dust burning a hole in my pocket. Help.
I mean, I was lucky and I got the golden Togwaggle card, so then I was like, this works great.
Did
for
you
Rogue.
really? Oh my god, that's awesome, dude. I forgot what mine was. I got a good one too. I just don't remember which one it was. I think it was Oblivitron or something like that.
Is Dr. Boom safe these days to craft?
I don't think he's good enough to craft. I actually think Dr. Boom might. I could see some people just cutting him even just to be, you know, just to be edgy, like, you know, that sort of thing.
I don't even need these bombs.
Yeah, and then I don't know anything. Gaara, would you say? I mean, Elysiana, but I mean, Elysiana's got to get nerfed. Like, this got to be nerfed, right? Like,
but no, I would say that is the only safe craft for sure. Like every control deck, you have to play her. Like you can't build a control deck if you don't have that card. You just have to play the card. It's
I've been playing decks without her. I mean, Shaman, but I mean Warrior for sure. But in Shaman, I've been playing without her.
But no other legendaries like really needed.
I mean, I think it depends on your class. Like you have to choose a class first. If you're talking about just common cards, I think it's gonna be pretty hard to choose one. But if you're talking about a specific class, I think there's some extremely good cards that I can't see ever getting bad.
Not must craft.
I'm trying to think. I mean, wouldn't you must craft Conjuring Call? I mean, you know, Conjurer's Call or whatever. That's a must craft in Mage.
Neutral legendaries, right? Like some tech neutral legendary that you kind of play in every deck. But do we have that even?
Yeah, we're talking this expansion West. Yeah, it's it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I definitely don't want to recommend somebody something right this second, because I think you know, who knows what could happen to it.
Angry comment later from someone like, "You told me."
Exactly. You bastard. You owe me 1,600 dust or 3,200 dust or whatever it is. But okay.
Yeah, I mean the neutral one, Elysiana is the best one, I would say. From the neutral. Yeah. Okay. Like you can play it in the most decks from the neutral ones for sure.
Okay, Job77 asks, why are people like Orange cutting Togwaggle from Rogue?
Too slow. And you don't need it. You can just win without it. It's the same with Elysiana. I often I don't play her usually in Control Warrior because it's like very niche that you need it. So you look at the average matchup spreadsheet, and if it actually decreases your win rate more than it helps, then you just don't play it. It's the same with the
Wait, which Togwaggle are they talking? Wait, which Togwaggle? Not King, right? Like
the guy that gives you a treasure chest.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. The legend guy.
You don't need it.
Yeah, the legendary.
It's like a win more card.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Boom. There's lots of those type of cards. Okay. Any other question? How's Mage doing this meta? Mage is doing well. I don't think a lot of people are playing Mage. Like, let me see popularity, but I think Mage is actually doing okay. If you play like the top Mage. Yeah,
one thing we have completely not talked about is Geppetto.
Oh yeah, Geppetto. Yeah, it's a good card. Cool card.
Yeah, and it's like there were like a few Geppetto decks popping up like yesterday. Like,
dude, Raven loves his Geppetto deck, man. It's like crazy. He loves it.
The name is the best, Geppetto.
Yeah. Geppetto, by the way, it's what's the text on it? It's you get a copy of 2 cards in your deck, but they're 1/1 or something like that. Or let me see, I forget what the.
Draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack health.
Yeah, Geppetto Joy. Here, you draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack health and cost to 1/1. So you're usually trying to cheat some crazy big card out. You know, like I don't know if it's Malagas or whatever it is. I forget when Raven's Hunter it cheats out. It cheats out probably when the death rattle minions are super good. Maybe that's 2/2 that turns into a 7/7. So yeah, that's a good one too. I think that card will be played with a bit more and abused like hell later once people realize it. Okay, any other questions, last minute questions, and then we'll wrap it up. It's been pretty good though. Overall, definitely having fun, and like Drez was saying, as long as we're having fun playing, that's really the main thing that we care about. But obviously hoping that some of the competitive stuff works out too. All right, last one. Do you believe the 3/12 8-mana minion rush it may attack again if he killed a minion will oversee play? Oh, okay. Yeah.
In arena.
Yeah, in arena, it's pretty good, right?
It's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's like a removal card almost. Like
the rush minions are good in arena most of the time.
Yeah, especially ones that can just keep hitting.
Unless you're rogue, you don't have that much initiative right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good mage. Oh, just look up APX Void's mage deck. It's really, really good. It's like Khadgar mage deck or whatever. Just look on his Twitter. His Twitter definitely post it. All right, well, why don't we wrap up? And Dreads, Gaara, it's awesome having you on. I mean, I think we covered a lot of stuff. And
one other thing that I kind of, just like kind of a sad point.
Okay.
A lot of stuff for arena this time around, like a lot of effort. And it's quite different. And man, I really wish they had talked about it just a little bit more on some of the release stream. Like, I don't even know if I heard the word arena, and I get it. It's not the main mode, and it probably never will be. But like, they put a lot of effort into it, and it's like, man, to not at least push it a little bit, just felt a little bit, bad to me. And a lot of people put effort into it too. So. Yeah, I don't know, because I have people coming to my channel like, oh, wait, arena's not standard? And it's like, yeah, this is a big thing, and they made all these changes, but people just didn't know because outside of like one little release, it just didn't feel like it got too much press, and it's just a little bit too bad. No,
that's a good point. I mean, I think that what they ended up doing with arena and having it be limited is huge. I mean, it's crazy big, and I think it's
arena change ever.
I would say
outside the bucket, probably.
The bucket system was a big change too. Yeah, but this is it should keep things more fresh, and
this is one of the biggest changes to Hearthstone, actually.
Yeah,
since standard, right? Since they introduced standard,
and I just watched the reveal streams. It's like, I mean, maybe you could at least mention it at the end or something. Yeah, I don't know, like, because I think people could really be having fun with it.
No, I think every 3 months, the fact that arena changes, like, I think I made a bold statement a couple months ago saying that this type of change could be like the first step to making arena the default format, in Hearthstone. Like, I mean, obviously there needs to be a competitive element to it, or else it won't be able to get there. But from the standpoint of the dynamic element to the format. This is way more dynamic than we're going to be seeing in standard. So
and I think this way, like the top arena players will really stand out because they know how to adjust the fastest.
Because you have to pick up the meta quicker, right? And then you do better than the other people because you figure it out faster, right? What cards are good and underbucketed. But yeah, I don't know. It's oftentimes a kind of a complaint. I'm happy they're doing more for arena because like a year or two ago, like they did like nothing for arena, and so now they've made changes, and I think a lot of them are positive changes. But yeah, just give it a little.
Still a snow man, but he's working his way back, almost to a real sun, basically.
Yeah, it's I get it, but it always feels a little bit bad, and I think a lot of it is that probably they don't make they make way less money off of arena than standard. Everyone say because a lot of people just go when they enter it or whatever, but I think they had an opportunity here, and they still do, to promote a little bit more, and maybe people that aren't that good at it will buy in arena runs, because I know when I started out, I did spend cash on arena runs because I wanted to keep playing, and I wasn't good enough to be infinite, obviously, or anything. So I don't know. It feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity this time around, but maybe next expansion they can give it a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you should just try to fully cover everything.
Also, like if more people play arena, more people might try constructed or get cards for constructed just because they get into Hearthstone because of arena.
Yeah, they try. I mean, I normally pre-order. I don't play much constructed, but I like doing a little bit, and I like arena is what I do, but I still do some constructed. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, but hopefully Blizzard hears it. Yeah. Again, agreed. Like why wouldn't they, right? Like why wouldn't they just kind of sell short
after putting that effort, right?
Yeah,
you already did the hard part. Just
marketing. Just market it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, overall having a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it, and so
yeah,
it's been a blast.
All right, so why don't we wrap up? Dredge, got some shout outs you want to do before we take off?
Yes, as always, a shout out to the arena community. You guys are awesome. Yeah. Thanks for letting me do what I'm able to do every single day. And if you guys want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Dreads Gaming, and on Twitch just Dreads. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, Gaara.
Shout outs to you.
Yeah.
Always nice to be on the show. It's super fun. Finally, we have this long awaited rotation.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun. I think Hearthstone is in a good spot overall. Like obviously there's problems. There will always be problems. You can't please everyone always, but I think it's overall much better. And this is also the World Championship that I'm looking forward to for the first time in forever. Right? I think that's going to be super fun to watch, and can't wait to see what they figure out. The super tryhards.
A lot of folks, I think people were mentioning, right? A lot of folks are just conceding every time they play a streamer because they don't want to show anything, any of their experiments and tests right now.
Feeding the dog and said, "Sorry, I got to go feed the dog."
Right.
And you really can't say this time who's gonna, who's the favorite. It's gonna be
those groups look pretty crazy. They announced the groups, right? The 4 groups for World Championships, and it's gonna be a bloodbath.
I think
man.
NA versus EU is also one step cooler this time.
Yeah,
because Spain and Madrid is super good, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think Hearthstone is super cool right now.
It's good. That's good to hear, man. Definitely it's good. I think the only parts that needs to be worked on is really just the external part.
We saved the complaining for 2-3 weeks down the line.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how things are, but love the new cards. Good job to I think the team so far on the new cards and just the new flavors to it. Last expansion, I don't know if people remember, a year ago we had a lot of the same things at this time. We still had cube block. We still had certain things that were still good from the previous expansion. Now there's nothing. There's literally maybe Control Warrior is the closest thing, but nothing. I
made this spreadsheet. I think 90% of the decks are killed. Baku and Gen going Hall of Fame killed literally 90% of the existing decks. It was crazy. I think we never had so many decks really disappearing for a new meta than right now. I think that's a good thing.
I'm surprised it's 90. I would think it's 95% of them are gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, something
very
crazy
few.
like that.
Like control warrior is always like, you know, we don't have Baku warrior, but control warrior is like.
Yeah, the priest and the warrior are probably the closest things. You know, like they're not the same, but they're kind of. Yeah, rogue maybe a little bit too. Yeah, maybe it is 90% then. But anyways, yeah.
That's like Secret Paladin, you know.
Yeah. No, but yeah, you want to shout out your stream or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I stream every day. Hearthstone. For people that don't know by now, Twitch TV Gaara now no longer best shaman. I got ripped from the title.
That's good. I mean, at least you got away from that. That's good.
I used to be Dreads with 3 S's because the Dreads was
that's right. I forgot about that.
I shaved the S's off once like the Justin TV names became available. So.
Yeah, so nice that everybody gets a chance to fix it. But yeah, so anyways, big thanks to you guys. Big thanks to everybody that watched. You can find the VODs on youtube.com/ChanmanV. As always, make sure to subscribe there if you haven't. And if you haven't in for a long time, make sure you do again, because it's a new channel, and it's good to make sure you get that channel, because it says ChanmanV, but it's actually a new one. And then follow this channel, of course, and then follow ValueTown's Twitter, ValueTownGG, and you can find this on all the audio channels, so iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud.com/ChanmanV. But that's going to be it, guys, for this week in ValueTown. So for Dreads, Gaara, and myself, ChanmanV, we'll see you next week.